Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is a show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, welcome back. Season 2, episode 17 of The Well.
That's right. We're coming to a close on 2024, and a close on, it's not the end of season 2, but it's, we're getting there.
It's starting to get cold.
That's right.
It took the cornfield and the soybean fields last week away from my house, so it's getting into it.
That's right. Yeah, it's deer season. There's been some deer shot, and hopefully one recovered today.
There you go.
And there's a lot going on.
I love it. I love the fall. It's basketball weather.
Yeah.
My Jayhawks are going to be back on soon.
Yeah.
Ranked number 1 in the early pulse. I'm just saying, coming into the season. So
I care about that so much.
Ooh, I love it. I cannot wait.
So much.
Kids have been in 3 months of basketball, training.
Yeah.
So going into the season, I'm excited. It's going to be a good year.
How's the arm?
He got his cast off today.
Oh,
right
good.
now, actually, right in the last episode we shot.
Oh.
But Tatum broke his toe, so he missed a couple of weeks.
Never ending.
I know. Just Tarek, it was his last one.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
Well, let's do a little bit of a recap. We've had a couple of seminars since our last recap, so I figure we'll kind of talk about those. As of this recording, what is today? Mid-October?
Mid-October.
So, there's nothing big coming up in November or anything.
No. What is coming up in November?
Nothing. Just another month.
When this episode drops, I think it'll be the Thursday.
Probably. So it already happened.
It already happened. So by the time you guys see this, we may or may not know who the next president is.
Kind of crazy, actually. We're right up against it.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. But if history is any indication, we won't really know the outcome by the time this drops. So
true.
Put it in the comments. Who do you think will be on?
Who do you want to win?
Oh, let's debate it. It's friendly discourse.
No, we joke around. We actually joke around about this at the seminars too.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good play. We'll have to find something new.
I know.
But it's been a pretty good joke because right before we go into the demo, Richy always says something to the effect of, "All right, we're going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about who's going to win the election," and occasionally that gets some belly laughs. Occasionally it gets some groans. Every once in a while, there's somebody in the audience that is really uncomfortable, which is kind of funny.
It makes it kind of funny.
Yeah.
And either they all laugh and we kind of laugh with them, or nobody laughs and I say, okay, yeah, terrible joke. I'm with you. And then they laugh at that. So,
So we salvage it.
Yeah.
I do think the election has had an impact on our results here lately. I mean, just like from a business writing standpoint, that has been probably the number one pushback. Well, I'm going to wait and see what happens with the elections, which historically it doesn't have much of an impact, if any, on your actual investments. So it's like, why are you worried about that? But I get it. People are, they're apprehensive about what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and this and that. So it's had an impact on the writing of business. I think the bigger impact that we've noticed, and maybe this is the case, we don't really know. You never really know. But both of the last seminars were relatively well attended. We had good registration numbers. We had good attendance numbers, decent appointment numbers at the individual seminars, but the appointment stick ratio has been far lower than what we've seen up until the prior 2 months. And we can't really put our finger on why that is. And the only kind of outlying difference is the election.
Yeah, because the show is the same. We've been doing the same seminar.
Yeah.
So we didn't change anything major. We tried a couple new venues. So, there was that component, but the presentation, the call to action, the deliveries. I think both of our deliveries have been on point. Yeah,
better. I think we've gotten smoother. We've gotten more. Frankly, we've gotten more knowledgeable and more confident in what we're talking about. So from that standpoint, I can't point my finger.
I almost
at anything.
wish I would have messed up because then at least I can point and say, okay,
that's why. I said this, and that's why nobody wanted to come. Or I sent out this email and nobody, they didn't want to. But the process for confirmations and everything has not changed.
No, 3 months ago it was slaying and everything was cool. Now it's not, and the only thing we can think of is really election. Unfortunately, I think it's just in a stall pattern of what's going to happen. You know how it is. Prospects will almost always take any excuse to kind of drag their feet.
Yeah.
just how it goes. So this is a big reason why to drag, and they're taking it.
Yep, they are for sure. And it may not be the same in every part of the country, but it's certainly happening to us. I have found that it seems like there's one of two answers. It's like canceled, not coming, or canceled, rescheduling. And it feels like the reschedules are sticking, but it's 2 or 3 or 4 weeks later sometimes. I have had really good success, and I think I've told you about this, with the last couple that have done that. Immediately when I see the cancellation email come through, and it's not a reschedule, if it's just like a hard cancel, I've had that happen twice in the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
And so immediately I just send them an email and I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I was really disappointed to see your cancellation come through. I was excited to get to know you and go through part 2 with you and get to understand your perspective on things and see how, if or how we might be able to help you. I was like, that said, something was on your mind. Something brought you to our seminar. And whether that was just to get validation on your current plan, or if there's something that concerns you about taxes or longevity, like I kind of go through the bullet points briefly. If it was one of those things, like it's only going to cost you a little bit of time to figure out the answers to those questions, even if it's just to get to know who we are. And both times, sending that direct kind of like personal, like, hey, I'm disappointed email has resulted in hosting not only they basically what I asked for in the email is, will you take my phone call? And both times, I say every single time, both times.
Still does. Yeah.
They've said, yeah, I'll take your phone call. And then I get on the phone with them, and it usually is a 20 or 30 minute conversation, kind of like a quasi part 2.
Yeah, a little half.
And by the end of that, they're like, I think I do want to meet with you. And so both of them have then scheduled an appointment. One of them I've met with, and I think may turn into some business. The other one I haven't met with yet. I'm meeting with her next week. But both of them went from really cold, canceled, to yeah, let's meet. Let's do it.
Dude, that's that grit that Keith talks about.
Yeah.
If you've seen Keith on stage, here, you know what? Is Keith coming right now into the video? I think he's about to slide through or something.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, wow.
There's Keith.
Oh, he's walking across the screen.
Sorry, Ethan.
We haven't done that to you in a while, so.
Sorry, Quinn.
Oh, man. But he talks about grit because you'll get what you get. But if you can have some grit and get in there and work a little harder like you just did, it'd be very easy to not do what you did.
Yeah, it's easy to get just down on it and be like, oh, man,
another one.
That one's gone. And I had that attitude. When the first one came, I was like, well, man, screw that. I'm not going to chase them. Like, I kind of had a little chip on my shoulder. Like, I'm not going to, whatever. But I was like, you know what? It takes me 30 seconds to write up a prompt to chat GTP to say,
that's right.
This is what I kind of want to say. I want to say it politely but firmly, but also express that I'm disappointed. And so that's what I did. I wrote out the kind of the outline of what it was that I was hoping to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I've used it enough at this point that it knows my voice reasonably well.
Yep.
I had to make some tweaks, but it worked, and we'll see. I mean, maybe some business will come from it. But really pleased because that was both from Wolfie's had one of those, and then this last one we did at Urban Vines had one of those.
Yeah.
I've also had a couple that just straight up just like nope.
I was gonna say, like, I've noticed, I don't know, if you're running dinner seminars at all, or even really there's always going to be people there that are not there for you. Like, we all know that. It's just how it works. That's fine. But I have noticed over the last 3-4 months an uptick in that. I feel like half our audience is would not, absolutely won't schedule an appointment with us. Doesn't matter what happens. Yeah. They're not even there. They're wearing glasses, literally. Yeah. Like sleeping or whatever else. Like, I don't know. I've noticed that. Have you seen that too? Feels like that way.
I've definitely felt like that a little bit. It seems like, I don't know. I hate to call it an attitude of entitlement, but it feels like a little bit like they come in and they're like, well, you're putting this on anyway, so I might as well get a free meal and maybe I'll pick something up from it. But I think we do a reasonably good job of mitigating that as much as possible. But yeah, you're right. I think there's more that I actually wasn't planning on telling this story, but I
was going to ask it and I was like, I'm going to put him on the spot.
Met a guy, and I'm not going to disclose all the information because I don't think it'd be appropriate, but I met a guy last weekend. I was hanging out with some family members, and this guy was a friend of theirs that was over as well. And he was talking about all these invites that he gets to these types of events. And he's not here locally. He's in another area of the country, and how he just goes. And it startled me because I was just really like, because we, as financial advisors, we all know what these people are and what they're called and all this stuff. And but you don't ever think you're going to meet one, like, and have an actual conversation. So I went into this conversation. I talked to him. I said, do you understand that, that individual that you have no intentions of meeting with or talking to has a family to feed, has, a business they're trying to build or run, and you're literally going in, taking food off of their family's plate or off their business's, books, just because you think you can. Like, that's kind of a really rude thing to do. And he got a little belligerent about it, and I didn't push back too hard, but we did talk a little bit, and I laid into him a little bit, and I had to kind of hold Crystal back because she was getting fired up. But just out doing God's work, one person at a time, just trying to help you guys out. Actually, as it turns out, the seminars that he was registering for are with a guy that we've worked with, and we know him. And I was like, man, that brings it pretty close to home. Like, I literally know the person that you're kind of ripping off, quite honestly.
Yeah, and we've talked about it in the past, season 1 even, like throughout. I mean, it's like we always kind of coach you to just ignore it. Just go in there, ignore it, keep your mind right, do your performance. But, now that we're on the other side of dozens and dozens and dozens of these events, like it wears on you. It does wear on you a little bit, because it's just like, man, because I don't know. It's just how it's done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't care if you don't schedule an appointment with me if it's not a good fit.
Right.
It's just that, like, show up with zero intent.
Right.
We're talking about the stock market and investments and different things. Like, where do you come into that if you're not, like? It just blows my mind. I don't know. Yeah. It's hard to.
I can't figure it out because it's not how I'd spend my time.
It's not how I'd spend my time, and again with the uptick, I think that's probably why it's on my mind, because I felt like it used to be 2, 3, 4 units. Now I feel like it's it's half the room, literally. Like they're not even. It's not going to happen. So the first seminar was over at Wolfie's, which I don't know if that's a national change or just Indiana.
I don't think so. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them here.
4 of them here, yeah. 2 of them are off of lakes, kind of near the city. So we did this one off Morse Lake in Noblesville, and it was beautiful. I mean, the lake in the background was pretty cool.
Yeah, that one guy was blinded by the light the whole time.
That was a little rough.
The sunset was going down, and he's like wearing his sunglasses. Can't see anything.
Yeah. Well, and it was we'll put a picture up so you can see it. It was kind of a cool room, but weird because it was just random, like couches, like furniture.
Yeah, they clearly had gone to like Restore and just bought a bunch of furniture,
just
mismatched,
threw it in there.
Yeah. But it was neat. I mean, it was
a different feel. We kind of gathered it around like a U shape, like a mastermind kind of feel.
We the 3 of us, because Paul was there, we're like furniture movers the whole time, like trying to figure out where we can put this couch or this chair or this table. But I think environment wise, it worked out really well, and it was full. We didn't have many, if any, empty seats.
No,
it was pretty full.
It was pretty full. We had a decent little meal, nothing crazy, but good. Yep. The worst part about that night, though, was that dang spider.
There was a big spider.
Dude, so I just finished, I think, Social Security, let's say. I don't remember which part, but I just finished my part. And so I sit down, I'm grabbing my coffee or whatever to take a little sip, and I look down, Andrew's standing, because we stand on either side of the screen. And usually when you're speaking, I try and you do the same. We try and kind of get out of the way. So, okay. So I'm sitting there, and you're doing your thing. Well, I look down, like, kind of in between, like at your feet, right in front of you, and there's a big... Like, you saw it. I think it was the same one. It's big. To me, it was freaking huge.
I mean, it was good size.
Dude, it was a beast.
It was, I would not be okay with that thing in my house.
No. It was like anyways, giant black spider going across the thing. And I'm watching it. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I think I'm pretty sure if she wasn't sleeping, she saw it. But I can't tell because she had glasses on. And anyway, so it kind of scurried over. And then anyway, so at the end of the night when we're cleaning up, it was underneath the speaker that we had. And you guys were chasing me with it. I just can't do spider. I'm just not a spider thing. I don't know why. It's just not my deal.
Yeah. No, it was that was an interesting experience. I would say from like a venue standpoint, it's a good spot to do it if you're okay with a smaller group. Mm-hmm. Because the room was tight with, I think we had 16 there.
So let's go into that. If it's just you, what's your perfect place, room, style, amount of people? Like, what's that look like now?
I think I don't want more than 25 in the room, because I think more than 25 and we're not effective. Mm-hmm. I think 10 to 15 is good, but I would like it. Here's the thing: if there's 20, I want 10 buying units. Like I want all couples, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I think that's the number for me. 10 to 15 units.
Units, yeah. Okay.
Because that's. What about you? What do you think?
Well, let me keep going on that. What are you doing? Do you like a dinner or wine or night events, lunch? Anything developing on that?
I don't know. I've liked the experience ones, frankly, from a cost standpoint. I think it's been really nice. Yeah. However, that is a variable that we did change earlier this year, and our appointment ratios have gone down. So it's like, is it the election? Is it the fact that we're not serving as much food? Is it the impression that we're giving? Who knows? So I think, to answer the question succinctly, I prefer the experience style. Yeah. But I think I will still, I think I'm still going to try dinners because they clearly work, and see how it goes.
Yeah, we've been successful off of them, but I think for me, I don't know. I think for me, anytime that I can control, I'm trying to think how I want to word it. Basically, like a U-shape environment is what I like the most, because you really can't, if it's sporadic or a random restaurant or there's circles or they're out, whatever, you can't control what they're looking at. Right. And then they don't engage with the jokes, and you can't make eye contact with them. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think it's more about that than it is the size even. Because if I can have you in a U shape around me, I could connect with each one of you guys and see you. So I'm going to dig into that, I think, a little bit more in this next year. Just kind of have classroom environments maybe even, or I don't know, just something where they can't hide. You can't go to that corner because I can see you in that corner.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I think we talked about that in season 1 a lot. Like, make sure your room is the way you want it. Yeah. And that is definitely the case. Like, if you go in there and the tables are not conducive to maintaining eye contact with at least 80% of the people that are there or more.
Do you remember like Buca de Pupo?
Oh my gosh!
Back in the day,
yeah.
Like if you look at that seminar, I can't even believe we ran that thing. Half the people weren't even facing us. We couldn't control. They were.
That was brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like the chairs were static. You couldn't move them, so it's like booths. Can't do anything about that. Yep. And then fast forward to like maybe like an HC kitchen where it's like we completely control that room. Yep. So anyways, that's what I prefer. These last few, just to go over the stats on those. Let's see, 21. All right, so Wolfies, we had 29 units register, 9 showed up. So this is low, 31% attendance on that one. Yeah. On the Urban, it was 27 units registered, 13 showed up. That was about a 50%. And then we got 3 appointments and 5 appointments. So 35% average there.
Yeah, which is... The attendance ratio has dropped a little bit, but I think that's partially because we've been overbooking a little bit more and canceling out people.
We've been canceling more.
Yeah, we've been canceling people. Specifically, when we identify the repeat offenders, where our policy has always been, if you come once and don't schedule, that's fine. You can come a second time, but if you don't schedule after the second time, now you're officially like, hey, you're clearly just here for the food. You're not, there's nothing new. Right. And I think the way you've handled it has been good. It's like, hey, this is really designed for, you've heard the presentation twice. Not much has changed. If you want any updates or information, you're welcome to schedule a one-on-one meeting. But this event is specifically designed for people that have not been to it before. So you're canceled.
You're canceled. Those conversations go really well. I will say one time I messed up and I did it like either the night before or even the morning of that night. The seminar was that night. And then rightfully they get a little bit upset because they've already planned on it. They've already gotten our confirmation emails and stuff like that. And then I call and say, oh, you can't come. Right. So just if you cancel them, do it 3 or 4 nights before and make sure you cancel them out of your autoresponders. Yeah. That's pretty key. But hey, I really appreciate you. I'm glad. Thanks for taking my call. It's awesome. It's good to hear you. Hope everything's well. You can't come tonight.
Yeah, you're uninvited.
You're uninvited. But I say that I'm going to have to uninvite you. But I'm not uninviting you from working with us. I still would love to help you. I know there's stuff that's on your mind. I can help you with it. It's just that this is a first time thing. And I've had one person get pretty mad at me. Everybody else has been good. It's been pretty easy.
I mean, they get it. And I think there's somebody else they can register for and go get a free meal there. So if they're truly motivated to work with us, they'll concede and they'll come to the appointment. I don't know that we've had any of those yet.
No, but I think so. So Wolfie's more of a dinner style, I guess, kind of. I mean, and then Urban Vines was not. It was supposed to just be wine, and we ended up doing charcuterie boards, and we ended up ordering pizzas also.
Yeah, the pizza was funny because I got there. I don't remember why, but I hadn't eaten like hardly anything. And Rich and I are setting up, and I'm like, dude, I'm hungry. And I saw on their little countertop, they had like the little packets of Parmesan cheese and the packets of red pepper. I'm like, they only have those if they have pizza.
Pizza, baby.
And so I'm like, Rich, we should order some pizzas. And he's like, let's do it.
Yep.
We're going to, we need to hit the minimum anyway. So let's order some pizza. So we ordered 4 or 5 pies.
Yep.
And we get into the presentation. And of course, we're being polite. And so we're letting them all get their food first. And there's probably like 1 slice of a margarita and then like 3 slices of pepperoni right in front of us. We're presenting. And kind of as a joke, I say to Richy as he transitioned to me, and I said, man, next time you get up and talk, I'm going to grab a slice. And you're like, yeah, I think next time you get up, I'm going to grab a slice too. Because we're both starving. Yeah. As soon as we said that, like 3 or 4 people got up and took all the rest of the pizza. And
they did.
Left us with nothing. And I was just like, well, no pizza for me.
I know. And I still wrestle a little bit. Like, I don't want to be a distraction when you're talking. And it's like, I could have gone, because there was another one, I think, that I could have grabbed one and done it. I don't know. I just feel weird. I feel a little rude or whatever it is.
I only would have done it in that context because it was like literally right in front of us. Like but that, not after I said something.
Nope.
So
gone.
Should have kept my mouth shut.
It looked good too. How's that pepperoni?
It did look good. I was starving. But I made it through. Got some decent appointment opportunities, a couple that are rescheduling on us. I think every single one of those 5 appointments have either rescheduled or canceled.
Yep, they have.
And that's what we were talking about earlier with like, not really sure why.
No, it was in a great area. It was a good presentation. It was
the quality of the attendees was good.
Yep.
We did have a couple of odd ducks in there.
There's a couple. Yeah, there's definitely a couple, but the ones that scheduled I thought were quality couples or quality units.
Yeah. I actually just got one today. I'm supposed to meet with them in 3 hours, and that's not happening now. So
that was kind of the silver lining. We didn't get as many appointments, but if I looked around the room, we did get the quality out of the room. The schedule,
sure.
They just
of the people that were there.
Yep.
If they were quality, they scheduled an appointment. So why they didn't stick, who knows? And I think a handful of them will. It's just a matter of scheduling didn't quite work out.
Get that grit.
Yep. So we'll get them. And we'll get some opportunity out of those for sure. So,
So we're winding down the year. I think we only have one more scheduled seminar.
Yep. Yeah, we do. We were thinking about doing something in November. We'll probably do a webinar too.
Probably do a webinar.
Try to squeak out some more opportunities.
Fill the gaps.
But just one more candles, I think. Is that next week?
Yep. Next week.
Next Tuesday.
It's filling up.
Yeah, we're trying some new stuff with that one.
Yeah.
We're testing a few new things on the marketing side of things, which actually that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. One of the things that Richy and I are committed to in 2025 is sharing more about the marketing components. Because like you guys have heard a lot about how we run seminars, and we'll still obviously be spending a lot of time on that. But we want this to be a resource for you guys from that standpoint, but also to understand the different marketing components that we can do for you as RA Marketing too. Because this is obviously a RA Marketing podcast. And so we're gonna leverage some of that. And one of the things that we're doing in the coming months is we're going to spend a lot of time digging into the virtual sales process because there's a huge need for that. There's several folks in this industry that are really, really, really good at working with clients virtually and closing business virtually. Yep. And we've been pretty open and honest about that. We've not been real good at that.
Yep.
And so we're dedicating ourselves to creating resources for our clients and people that are prospective clients to learn how to do that better, because that is the future, at least to an extent.
Yep.
I think in-person seminars are not going away. They're by and large probably going to be the number one source of business for most financial advisors, but virtual is a key that we can't ignore, and we need to get better at it. And there are people that are doing it well, and we're going to learn from them, and we're going to share that because it's incredibly valuable.
Yeah, we're going to go on a tour, hit the road, start interviewing them. Maybe we can buy a couple robots and send them to a couple other offices, let them do the interviews.
That's not a bad idea. Elon, if you watch this, because I know you subscribe, send us a robot, and Richy wants one, and we'll put it to work.
Dude, I would definitely buy one.
No, have him give it to you.
Oh, yeah, give it to me.
Yeah,
give it to me. I'll tell the people about it.
Yeah, that's right. We'll promote it. We'll put it on this podcast. We literally have dozens of people that watch this.
Robo-advisor.
That would maybe... Well, that's already taken. That's trademarked. Sorry. That's trademarked.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's trademarked. Scrub that one. Anyway, so we're gonna be trying to share a lot more of that type of content because it is relevant, and think of it as almost training for some of the things that we all face, the challenges that we face, and we're excited to.
And let us know if you have topics, if you have questions. I have seen some comments, and I'll be honest with you, we've been bad. We've been bad.
Yeah.
Because there's been comments and we don't respond to them. So, but my mom actually found it. She was here last week and she's like, hey, did you know there's some comments that you haven't responded to? I'm like, no, where? Show me. She showed me. I'm like, oh. So we'll get better about that. Put your comments in there and let us know what you want to hear topic wise. We'll spin it up.
Yeah, it's our obligation to you guys to find answers for the questions that we have and that you have. And if we can create a resource for you with this podcast, then we want to do that.
Yep, sounds good. All right, well, that's another one down.
A few more to go.
And then we'll be into season 3 soon enough.
Season 3.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.